Hi everyone, I'm Steve Unwin and I'm chair of the wonderful charity Kids, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you to our very own virtual Harry Potter quiz. Now my daughter says I look like Dumbledore, but I don't know if that's true, you'll have to tell me. Thank you for joining us wherever you are. We're thrilled to have two fantastic stars from the Harry Potter stage play are going to be hosting this quiz. But before I introduce them, I wanted to tell you a little bit about why your support is so valuable. Kids supports thousands of disabled children, young people and their families every year by providing about 90 different services right across England. And we passionately believe that disabled children deserve all the fun, support and learning that all children deserve. Kids is a fantastic charity, and I should know, I'm the dad of a severely disabled child, and Kids has made a huge difference to all of us. But before we get stuck into the quiz, and it's ferociously competitive, as I'm sure you can imagine, please take a moment to watch this short video that we're going to show you so you can see how Kids continues to make a big difference to the lives of people all over the country, even through this ghastly pandemic. And I think it'll show you why we need your help.
Hello, I'm Cathy Newman and I'm a patron of Kids, a leading disability charity in the UK. 10% of UK families have a disabled child. A third live in poverty, so Kids is seeing a massive increase in demand for their services. This is a really desperate situation for children who have additional health and emotional needs, particularly as most of their trusted face-to-face support services aren't taking place. Many disabled children and their families are simply at crisis point. Across the country, parents are juggling working at home with providing homeschooling. Now, in any situation, this is hard. But if you're the parent of a disabled child who needs significant care, it's frankly all but impossible. Please, join me in supporting Kids if you possibly can.
COVID-19 has brought many changes, some far exceeding any expectation.
All staff wear PPE.
Communities have come together to make us reusable and compliant face masks, which are much less clinical looking and much more environmentally friendly. They've also made us theirs, which have helped our young people to accept some of the changes around them.
Kids Family Centre has remained open for key children during lockdown, and we've recently been able to welcome back more children to the setting. For those children who do remain at home, staff have been making weekly phone calls, and we've recently delivered some home learning packs to children.
I think the one thing that mainly came out of this is that we had to then roll our nursery out into our community and into the families we work with. And this was more the families that were behind closed doors. And we had to really go and support them. And it was even things like giving them a phone call in the morning in the first few weeks of the pandemic and say, are you okay? I remember phoning one mom and she said she hadn't got any milk, so she couldn't do a cup of tea. She couldn't get any milk on the cereals. So one of our senior members of staff decided to walk back out and went and got one milk and popped some on her doorstep. That was a lifeline, she said to her, and I never understood why she said lifeline. But now further on down a few weeks, I get that. What a lot of families have said, we have been their lifeline.
We've also been making little cookery videos for our young people to participate in, and they seem to have really enjoyed this and been sharing photos of their cooking and receiving Star Cook certificates.
Good, that's okay.
Was it easy or hard?
Not easy, but as I say, kind of bitter.
What do we say to Wendy?
I love you. I love you. Bye. Thank you.
Well, thanks for watching that, and I hope that that's given you a sense of just how important Kids is to so many families. Now, this quiz is just for fun, but we'd really appreciate your support if you can make a donation when you're taking part. Anything you can give will make a big difference at a time when, frankly, so many events have been cancelled, the London Marathon and so on. Now, there are a couple of ways you can donate, and it's really simple. So I want you to either text HP Quiz then a space, followed by your amount, and text it to 70085. And if you don't want to receive any marketing communications from kids, just text HP quiz no info and your amount. Or you can donate online at www.kids.org.uk/HP quiz. All those details are going to be on your screen throughout the quiz, so please give what you can. Now let's get on with the fun stuff. I'm really, really delighted to introduce two wonderful actors. Jamie Parker, who played Harry Potter himself in the original cast of the West End Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, for which he received an Olivier Award, which is about as good as it gets for Best Actor. And with him is the incredibly talented Paul Thornley, who starred as Ron Weasley in the same show, both in London and in New York, I believe. Anyway, enjoy the quiz, do well, and please do donate if you can, and I'll see you again very shortly. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Stephen, for introducing us. We are delighted to be supporting kids, myself and Jamie Parker.
Hello.
I am also here as Nearly Headless Nick in Ollivander, as you can see. For those of you that are going, who are these old people? I was in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child with Jamie in London, and then we went to America and did it on Broadway. And I'm sure you've all read or seen Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I hope so. Otherwise, round 7's going to be tricky. But I played Ron Weasley, and we had a lovely time, didn't we?
We did. We had a marvellous time. We did it for a long time. And now we get to do things like this, which is just as much fun.
You played, Amy?
I played Harry.
Harry Potter?
Harry Potter, and I have retained one of the 35,000 pairs of glasses that were kept around the stage of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child for those times when I forgot to put them on. So these are my and I've also got a wand. Quiz is just for fun, but you can share your scores if you like, just for a bit of fun with kids on Facebook or Twitter. Twitter handle is @KidsCharity, or you can challenge your friends and family to beat your score. We've got 8 rounds, 5 multiple choice questions, and each round is based on the books in the HP series, finishing with our very own Harry Potter and the Cursed Child round.
We would really hope you will dig deep, because charities are struggling at the moment, as you can imagine.
Yes.
You can donate to us by texting HP quiz, then a space, followed by your amount, which hopefully will be loads, to 70085. So, for example, HP quiz 5. I reckon you can go more, to donate £5. If you don't want to receive any marketing communications from kids, just text HP quiz no info and your amount.
So let's get cracking.
I've got to tell you,
yes,
I think I probably can answer 2 of these. I hope you lot.
The guy, there was a wonderful chap called James Romney who understudied Albus Potter on Broadway, and he's now playing him, isn't he, in San Francisco? And he missed out on our Harry Potter quiz when we were in New York because he had some pitiful excuse, like he was getting married or something, and we didn't win. And then when he came in, I asked him all the questions that we got wrong, and he got all of them right, and I've still never forgiven him. So, James, if you're out there, I hope you're playing this, and I hope you come second by 1 point. Right, okay, let's go going. Round 1, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. In question 1, in Harry's first charms lesson, what was the spell they were learning?
Was it A, Ingorgio, B, Aguamenti, C, Lumos, D, Wingardium Leviosa?
Excellent pronunciation of Leviosa there.
Thank you.
So, question 2. What flavour of Bertie Bott's Every Flavour beans did Dumbledore eat while visiting Harry in the hospital wing? What flavour of Bertie Bott's Every Flavour beans did Dumbledore eat while visiting Harry in the hospital wing?
Was it A, earwax, B, bogies, C, toffee, or D, peppermint chocolate?
Excellent.
I know which one I prefer.
Yeah.
Was it A, earwax, B, bogies, C, toffee, D, peppermint chocolate?
Question 3. What was the name of the dog who guarded the Philosopher's Stone?
A, Furry, B, Fluffy, C, Cutie, or D, Twinkle Toes?
I'll give you a clue.
A,
Not D.
Furry,
That
B,
was
Fluffy,
mine.
C, Cutie, D, Twinkle Toes. Jamie Parker's a bit of a Twinkle Toes, I have to tell you.
And we've got some.
Lovely mover.
It's our shared nickname for each other. It used to be written on our dressing room door. Right,
We had a dressing room for 2 years.
2 years. Can you imagine the smell in there? Right. Question 4. What is Hagrid's official job? We need the full title. That's not a multiple choice one. That we just need to know exactly.
I was going to read it out. I'm glad I did.
Yeah. And finally, for the Philosopher's Stone question, question 5. What is Argus Filch's cat called?
A, Mrs. Whiskers. B, Mrs. Fluffles. It's another pet name for Jamie. C, Mrs. Norris. D, Mrs. Angus. A, Mrs. Whiskers. B, Mrs. Fluffles. C, Mrs. Norris. D, Mrs. Angus.
Yeah,
I
and then move
can't
on.
actually see what the answers are on mine.
You can't.
No.
Oh, excellent. This is where we can add spice to the round. We can test Paul as we go along. Love it. So question 1, in Harry's first charms lesson, what was the spell they were learning?
Oh, please don't do this.
Was it Engorgio, Aguamenti, Lumos, or Wingardium Leviosa? Paul?
Oh, no.
This is brilliant. This is an absolute gift. I didn't know this was going to happen.
Can I get one with the answers on?
Take a guess. You've got a 25% chance.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Yes! Question 2. What flavour of Bertie Bott's every flavour beans did Dumbledore eat while visiting Harry in the hospital wing?
Oh,
Paul, the internet is sitting there going, come on, Paul.
sorry. Peppermint chocolate.
No, it was earwax.
Oh, damn.
Question 3. What was the name of the dog who guarded the Philosopher's Stone?
B, Fluffy.
Yes. What about Hagrid's official job? Question 4.
Keeper of keys and grounds at Hogwarts.
He's saying that like he knew that one. It's the only option he's got written down. He doesn't need the highlighter. Question 5. What is Argus Filch's cat called?
Mrs. Norris.
It is Mrs. Norris. If you said Mrs. Norris for question 5, you got the right answer. That's the end of the Philosopher's Stone questions. Let's move on to book number 2, Chamber of Secrets. Do you want to swap it around? What do you want to do?
Yes.
Okay.
So, question 1. What colour were Professor Sprout's earmuffs when the class were handling mandrakes?
Good one.
That's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, what colour were Professor Sprout's earmuffs? Was it A, blue, B, green, C, pink, or D, red?
Question 2. What animal did Hermione get turned into while using the Polyjuice Potion?
Was it A, a cat, B, a dog, C, a mouse, or D, a hamster?
Question 3. What is the name of the house elf that pays Harry a visit in the summer holidays? I mean.
Was it A, Winky, B, Sunky? Good option. C, Dobby, or D, Ranny? I think
do those again.
Even people who've never heard of Harry Potter will know that one.
Yeah. Question 4. When Harry used Floo Powder, which shop did he come out at?
Ooh. Was it A, Flourish and Blotts, B, Ilop's Owl Emporium, C, Borgin and Burke's, or D, the Leaky Cauldron? I think we can afford to hear that one again, can't we? That's a good one.
When Harry used Floo Powder, which shop did he come out at?
A. Flourish and Blots, B. Ilops Owl Emporium, C. Borgin and Burke's, or D. The Leaky Cauldron.
And finally, in this round, what is the anagram for Tom Marvolo Riddle?
I believe in
What is the anagram for Tom Marvolo Riddle? Is it Marvolo?
In some quarters. I mean, I don't think it's mandatory. I think it's according to taste.
My taste says Marvolo.
That's because you are Marvolo, and I think we should go with it and run with it. So that's the end of the Chamber of Secrets rounds. Let's do the answers. Question 1. Remind us, Paul, what was the question?
What colour were Professor Sprout's earmuffs when the class were handling mandrakes?
Yeah, good one. If you said A, blue, you were wrong. If you said B, green, you were wrong. If you said C, pink, you were right. And if you said D, red, you were wrong.
What animal did Hermione get turned into while using the Polyjuice Potion?
Everybody all together, it was answer A, a cat.
What is the name of the house elf that pays Harry a visit in the summer holidays?
It wasn't Winky, it wasn't Sunky, it wasn't Ranny, it was, of course, C, Dobby.
I think if you get that wrong, you're going to Azkaban.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Even I knew that one.
Yeah.
Question 4. When Harry used Floo Powder, which shop did he come out at?
Oh, good moment. Wasn't Flourish and Blots, wasn't Ilops Owl Emporium, and it wasn't the Leaky Cauldron, it was C, Borgin and Burke's.
And finally, what is the anagram for Tom Marvolo Riddle?
Riddle. Well, I think, can you give us the answer, but can you do it in that accent again?
What is the anagram for Tom Marvolo Riddle? It is, I am Lord Voldemort.
Marvellous. Right.
So we had a very interesting, because in the films, they call Lord Voldemort Lord Voldemort. But when we started rehearsals for our show, and the magnificent J.K. Rowling turned up, she referred to the Dark Lord as Voldemort, as in the French pronunciation. So we all went, well, if our queen and leader is going to say that, then we should probably say that. But it confused a lot of the fans of the show, didn't it?
It did.
We all thought we were saying it wrong.
It confused some of the actors as well, I seem to remember. Tripped up over our own tongues more than a little. But eventually we got it right. I think, how many times did we had about 800 chances, I think.
Yeah.
Something like
Maybe got it right near the end.
At some point. One of my favourite moments was near the end of the run in London. I know it wasn't at the end, it was quite near the beginning, when there was a moment when a lady in sheer terror just got up and ran away. She ran down the aisle, the centre aisle of the stalls. She saw what was happening in the story, couldn't cope with it. Went, no, I'm out of here. Run away. Right. Let's run into episode 3, the Prisoner of Azkaban questions. Question 1. Okay. Who did Harry think conjured the Patronus that saved him and Sirius from the Dementors?
A. James Potter. B. Remus Lupin. C. Lily Potter. D. Severus Snape.
Question 2. What is the name of the pub that Madam Rosmerta owns?
One more time.
What is the name of Madam Rosmerta's pub?
Is it A, the Hogshead, B, the Leaky Cauldron, C, Cafe Magic, or 3, the Three Broomsticks?
I've never been to Cafe Magic. I want to go
Yeah.
there. That sounds great. These are getting a little trickier now. I'm enjoying this. Okay, so question 3. Where does the secret passageway behind the one-eyed witch leads to? Where does the secret passageway behind the one-eyed witch lead to?
A, Honeydukes, B, Zonko's Joke Shop, C, the Ministry of Magic, D, the Whomping Willow.
Good one. Question 4. When does Lupin turn into a werewolf? Or werewolf, depending on who you are.
Werewolves.
When does Lupin turn into a werewolf?
Question 5.
Oh yes, that one's not a multiple choice one, and this one's not multiple choice either. Last one, question 5. Why does Harry set Sirius free? Why does Harry set Sirius free? Okay, let's go back over those. Yeah, excellent. So, question 1: Who did Harry think conjured the Patronus that saved him and Sirius from the Dementors?
Yes, no, you're going to have to do this. This is far too hard. This is too rich for my blood.
Cares a hazard a guess, Paul?
No.
Let me put you out of your misery. It was A. James Potter, of course.
Thank you.
Question 2. What is the name of Madam Rosmerta's pub? This is a good one here because we've got 3 real pubs. Then there's Cafe Magic, unless I'm very much mistaken, which is a fictional one. And it was Paul.
Don't shame me.
I'm being unnecessary.
Don't shame me on the internet.
It was the 3 broomstick. I'll be honest. I'd probably stumble over that one myself.
But if we do open a cafe, we're going to call it Cafe Magic.
Oh yeah, and that's where all the magic will happen. Definitely. Yeah. Question 3: Where does the secret passageway behind the one-eyed witch lead to? The answer was A. Honeydukes. And 4: When does Lupin turn into a werewolf? Werewolf! At the full moon, of course. And finally, question 5: Why does Harry set Sirius free? Because Sirius was an innocent man, of course. If you haven't read any of the books, then there's a lot of spoilers in this quiz, but, I'm guessing you wouldn't be playing the quiz.
Yeah, I can't imagine there'll be too many people wanting to take on a Harry Potter quiz who haven't read any of them.
I feel we should have a little moment just to remember Alex Wiseman, who is a wonderful guy who was in the original Broadway company, who developed under his own steam a wonderful moment in the Ministry of Magic scene, where when Harry would mention werewolves, he would, in a sort of moment of panic and consternation, expostulate werewolves until the times when Alex, who was a swing and an understudy, wasn't available for those scenes because he was doing something else, at which point somebody else would have to say the werewolves moment. And it was a lucky dip. You never know. You never knew who was going to say it. And me and Noma up on the stairs would always have a moment of panic. And there was, of course, the glorious Mel Brooks moment when the entire company decided to shout werewolves at the same time, and we got 26 werewolves. It's very difficult not to laugh. Okay, let's move on to question section 4, Goblet of Fire. Paul, let's have question 1.
The Goblet of Fire questions. Question 1. Who put Harry's name in the Goblet of Fire?
Ooh, who put Harry's name in the Goblet of Fire? Was it A. Alastor Moody, B. Barty Crouch Jr., C. Igor Karkaroff, or D. Voldemort? A. Alastor Moody, B. Barty Crouch Jr., C. Igor Karkaroff, or D. Voldemort?
Question 2. What was the first task?
Ooh. No multiple choice on that one. You just have to know. What was the first task?
What was the first task?
Okay.
And that's so. When we were doing the show,
yes,
there's a bit of it that there's a character called Ludo Bagman, and they didn't have anyone to play Ludo Bagman, so I did a silly voice at rehearsals one day, and then Ludo Bagman
was born.
Stupidest voice I've ever done in my life. I will do it in the
It was nuanced and sympathetic.
Question 3. Where did Harry work out his golden egg?
Oh, yes. Where did Harry figure out the golden egg clue? Was it A, in Moaning Myrtle's bathroom? Was it B, in the prefect's bathroom? Was it C, in the Black Lake? Or was it D, in the Dursley's bathtub? So where did Harry figure out the golden egg clue? Was it A, Moaning Myrtle's bathroom, B, the prefect's bathroom, C, in the Black Lake, or D, in the Dursley's bathtub?
Question 4. When, in February was the second task?
Oh, God, that's a tough one. What date?
I like the Dobby questions.
I know. Flipping heck. What date in February was the second task? Was it A, February the 16th, B, February the 28th, C, February the 24th, or D, I'm still wearing my uncle's teeth, or D, February the 4th? So when was the second task? Was it A, February 16th, B, February 28th, C, February 24th, or D, February the 4th?
And 5, why did Ron fall out with Harry?
Oh.
You have to do the answers.
Yeah, no, I know. We've got an interesting thing going on here where we have 2 answers highlighted.
Oh.
So we'll have to unpick this one. So was it A, Ron fell out with Harry because he was jealous? Was it B, because he thought Harry did put his own name in the Goblet of Fire? Was it C, Harry stole his salamander skin? Or was it D, Harry played a prank on him? So why did Ron fall out with Harry? Was it A, he was jealous, B, he thought Harry did put his own name in the Goblet of Fire, or C, Harry stole his salamander skin, or D, Harry played a prank on him? Okay. That's the end of the Goblet of Fire questions.
Hold on.
Oh. Suspense. Oh!
Thought we'd have a little postings class. Oh.
Moving on. Oh, okay. Okay, well, if you're going to do that, I'm going to do that. Okay. Paul, you loop round on the answers for the Goblet of Fire, and I will change my mind.
Right. Yeah. So, question 1. Who put Harry's name in the Goblet of Fire?
Answer, of course, if you said... Anyway, where's that? Goblet of Fire. If who put Harry's name in the Goblet of Fire? If you said Barty Crouch Jr., you were right.
Question 2. What was the first task? It was to retrieve a golden egg from a dragon.
Yay! That's Ludo.
Question 3. Where did Harry work out his golden egg? Where did he figure it out?
Where did he figure it out? It was, of course, in the prefect's bathroom. Myrtle was there, but it wasn't her bathroom.
Oh. Question 4. When in February was the second task?
I've got to say, I'd have fallen down on this one. That's a tough one. It wasn't...
This is a James Romney question.
Yeah, this is definitely a James Romney question. It wasn't the 16th. It wasn't the 28th. It wasn't the 4th. It was answer C, February the 24th.
And is that like a special date? Is that... No?
To remember the detail. I could forget the significance of the 24th. It's been a while now.
Yeah.
I forgot. I used to know all this stuff.
Jamie used to... Jamie used to record little chapters for his son, because obviously we were working in the evening. So he'd record a little section of all the books.
It's true.
From the toilet. So
you'd have a very
sonorous,
echoey. Yeah, it was full of reverb. It was like Myrtle was there for the whole time.
It was.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're moving on to the Order of the Phoenix.
No, hang on a minute. We've got question 5.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
Why did Ron fall out with Harry? Trick question. I mean, I actually think this isn't a mistake in the highlighting, because I think that 2 of these answers are actually true.
Right.
So which of the 2 do we think that there would qualify as answers? Was it A, Harry fell out with Ron because he was jealous? B, he thought Harry did put his own name in the Goblet of Fire? C, Harry stole his salamander skin? Or D, played with a prank on him? Highlighted here is A, he was jealous and he thought Harry put his name in the Goblet of Fire. If memory serves me correctly, I think both of those are probably right. So let's say you get an extra point if you got both of them.
Very good.
And if I'm wrong, then you can explode with forensic detail as to why I'm wrong. Okay, let's move on. Order of the Phoenix. Question. Which way around are we doing it? Who's asking the question?
You're doing the questions.
I'm doing
time.
the questions. Okay.
Yeah.
So question 1 on Order of the Phoenix. 1. Who modified Marietta Edgecombe's memory in Dumbledore's office? Who modified Marietta Edgecombe's memory in Dumbledore's office?
A. Kingsley Shacklebolt. B. Dumbledore. C. McGonagall. It feels funny calling her McGonagall. You have to call her Professor McGonagall, surely.
McGonagall, yeah, Professor.
Very cross, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
D. Harry Potter. A. Kingsley Shacklebolt. B. Dumbledore. C. Professor McGonagall. Or D. Harry Potter.
Sir Harry Potter. Question 2. What was the bell jar in the Department of Mysteries? What was
it?
the
A.
jar in the Department of Mysteries?
A. Life. B. Time. C. Butterbeer. D. Light.
That spooky old bell jar.
A. Life. B. Time. C. Butterbeer. D. Light.
Getting murkier now, isn't it? Question 3. Where were Harry's occlumency lessons taking place? Where were Harry's occlumency lessons taking place?
A. Dumbledore's office. B. The Defence Against the Dark Arts classroom. C. The dungeons. Or D. The Ministry of Magic.
Ooh. Question 4. When did Harry see Mr. Weasley being attacked by Nagini? When was it that Harry saw Mr. Weasley being attacked by Nagini?
Was it A. Easter. B. October half term. C. Summer holidays. D. Christmas.
Dread your memories for those ones. Question 5. Why did Harry go to the Ministry of Magic at the end of the year? Why did Harry go to the Ministry of Magic at the end of the year?
A. He thought Sirius was being attacked. B. He wanted to have tea with the minister. C. He was applying for a job. D. He thought Dumbledore was being attacked.
Ooh.
So A. He thought Sirius was being attacked. B. He wanted to have tea with the minister. C. He was applying for a job. Or D. He thought Dumbledore was being attacked.
Good ones. Let's loop back round. Let's find out. Okay, so question 1. Who modified Marietta Edgecombe's memory in Dumbledore's office? The answer was A. Kingsley Shacklebolt. You got that then? Well done.
That's a great name.
It was, wasn't it? Question 2. What was the bell jar in the Department of Mysteries? The answer, of course, was B. Time. Question 3. Where were Harry's occlumency lessons taking place? They were happening in C, in the dungeons. In I think if you said, I think Snape's classroom would count, wouldn't it? I think maybe as well. They're in the dungeons. Maybe I'm wrong. If I've muddied the water there, then I apologise. But question 4, when did Harry see Mr. Weasley being attacked by Nagini? The answer was D, at Christmas. And 5, why did Harry go to the Ministry of Magic at the end of the year? It was, of course, because he thought that Sirius was being attacked. He's still trying to save Sirius now as a 40-year-old man. Freud, come here.
Okay. I think this is a good time. If you're having a nice time, even if you're not, take some money if you can.
Yes.
Or go online and do it. That would be really helpful.
Even if you're not having a good time, do it anyway.
Gemma, the lady that asked us to do this, said, just like watch Stephen Fry do it. Just like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Seamless.
I think Stephen Fry needs to worry seriously about coming up the show hosting stakes. It's like that's what it's like shooting stars.
He didn't have backgrounds though, did he?
No.
Well, there you go.
He's not very transparent, is he? Come on. Come on, Stephen.
Right. So we're on to the Half-Blood Prince questions.
Yes, book number 6.
Question 1. Whose blood got smeared into the wall to enter the Horcrux Cave?
Ooh.
Whose blood got smeared into the wall to enter the Horcrux Cave?
Was it A, Harry's? Was it B, Albus Dumbledore's? Was it C, Hermione Granger's? Or D, Ron Weasley's? all of whom would be bad news indeed. But whose blood was it that got smeared into the wall to enter the Horcrux Cave? Harry's, Dumbledore's, Hermione's, or Ron's?
Question 2. What object cursed Dumbledore's hand?
Was it A, a diadem, B, a cup, C, a tin of cat food, or D, a ring? What was it? What object cursed Dumbledore's hand? A, a diadem, B, a cup, C, a tin of cat food, or D, a ring?
Question 3. Where did Harry discover the locket was a fake?
Oh, blimey. Was it A, Hogwarts, B, Diagon Alley, C, Hogsmeade, or D, Nocturne Alley? Where was Harry when he discovered that the locket was a fake? Hogwarts, Diagon Alley, Hogsmeade, or Nocturne Alley? That's a good one.
Question 4. Who did Harry take to Slughorn's Christmas party?
Those Christmas parties. Was it A, Ginny Weasley? Was it B, Hermione Granger? C, Luna Lovegood? Or D, Romilda Vane? Who did Harry take to Slughorn's Christmas bash? Was it A, Ginny, B, Hermione, C, Luna, or D, Romilda Vane?
Question 5. Who put a confunder's charm on Cormac McLaggen at the Quidditch tryouts?
Was it A, Lavender Brown, B, Hermione Granger, C, Romilda Vane, or D, Harry Potter? Who was it who put the confunder's charm on Cormac McLaggen at the Quidditch tryouts? A, Lavender Brown, B, Hermione Granger, C, Romilda Vane, or D, Harry Potter?
I think this is hard, isn't it?
These are hard, but you know, it's in the nature of the canon, isn't it? That things get murkier and darker and harder as harder to answer. The questions get trickier, Paul.
Okay, here are the answers. Whose blood got smeared into the wall to enter the Horcrux Cave?
It was the.
I'll have another go.
Let's do that again.
Whose blood got smeared into the wall to enter the Horcrux Cave?
The answer was B, Albus Dumbledore's.
Question 2. What object cursed Dumbledore's hand?
Well, yes. Which object was it that cursed Dumbledore's hand? It was D, the ring. Evil ring.
3. Where did Harry discover the locket was a fake?
This is good. Where was Harry when he discovered the locket was fake? The answer was A, he was at Hogwarts.
Question 4. Who did Harry take to Slughorn's Christmas party?
Great moment. He turns up with Luna Lovegood, and she's very happy about it.
Question 5. Who put a confunder's charm on Cormac McLaggen at the Quidditch tryouts?
It was, of course, Hermione Granger. Answer B. If you got all of those, well done. How are you doing? If you're doing well, then out of sheer joy and happiness with yourself, why don't you send some donations via text? And if you're not, cheer yourself up by sending some donations.
I think I've got 3.
You got 3?
So far.
Well, I'm not keeping score. Maybe we should have been keeping score. I should have been doing this myself.
Right.
Okay, Deathly Hallows.
Yeah, you're on questions.
So I'm on question. Okay, so question 1 of Deathly Hallows. 1. Who destroys the cup Horcrux in the Chamber of Secrets? Question 1.
A.
Who destroys the cup Horcrux in the Chamber of Secrets?
A. Ron Weasley. B. Ginny Weasley. 3. Fred Weasley. D. Hermione Granger. A. Ron Weasley. B. Ginny Weasley. C. Fred Weasley. D. Hermione Granger.
So that's question 2. What was the Horcrux that belonged to Rowena Ravenclaw? What was the Horcrux that belonged to Rowena Ravenclaw?
A. A cup. B. A locket. C. A diadem. D. The snake Nagini.
Question 3. Which one of Draco Malfoy's followers dies in the Room of Requirement? Which of Draco's followers dies in the Room of Requirement?
A. Blaise Zabini. B. Vincent Crabbe. C. Gregory Goyle. D. Pansy Parkinson. A. Blaise Zabini. B. Vincent Crabbe. C. Gregory Goyle. D. Pansy Parkinson.
Sometimes I get the feeling that J.K. Rowling concocts these names purely to try and trip up the actors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Question 4. How did Harry, Ron, and Hermione get out of Gringotts? How did Harry, Ron, and Hermione get out of Gringotts?
A, they tunnelled out. B, they flew out on a dragon. C, they apparated out. D, they used a portkey.
Good one. And finally, question 5. How did Harry unlock the snitch? How did Harry unlock the snitch?
A, he rubbed it. B, he sat on it. C, he used the Alohomora charm. D, he whispered, "I'm ready to die."
Moving back to question 1. Let's circle back on the Deathly Hallows questions. So, question 1 was who destroys the cup Horcrux in the Chamber of Secrets? The answer was D, Hermione Granger. Question 2, what was the Horcrux that belonged to Rowena Ravenclaw? If you said C, a diadem, you were right. Well done. 3, which of Draco's followers dies in the Room of Requirement? Wasn't Blaise Zabini, wasn't Pansy Parkinson. So was it Crabbe or was it Goyle? The answer was C, Goyle, Gregory Goyle. Question 4, how did Harry, Ron, and Hermione get out of Gringotts? It was, of course, B, they flew out on a dragon. Awesome moment. And 5, how did Harry unlock the snitch? Paul? He whispered, "I'm ready to die."
Yes.
Answer D. If you said D, you were right, and well done. That's it for the books. Moving on to installment 8. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, or as some people say, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Which
American people like saying "cursed child."
Yeah, which is
I don't know why.
You know,
I think we're still in Elizabethan England.
Yeah, I think, but you know, I'm quite particular about my accents on the e's of words that end with ed. So I've always said cursed. Anyway, let's crack on. Final round.
The questions for Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Question 1: who is Minister for Magic in the Cursed Child?
Is it A, Harry Potter, B, Ron Weasley, C, Hermione Granger, or D, Neville Longbottom? Who's Minister for Magic in the Cursed Child? A, Harry, B, Ron, C, Hermione, or D, Neville?
Question 2. What house is Albus Potter in?
Thereby hangs a tale. Is it A, Gryffindor, B, Slytherin, C, Ravenclaw, or D, Hufflepuff? Which house is Albus in? Gryffindor, Slytherin, Ravenclaw, or Hufflepuff?
3. When history changed the first time, who was Ron married to?
Was it A, Luna Lovegood, B, Lavender Brown, C, Romilda Vane, or D, Padma Patil? When history changed the first time, who was Ron married to? Luna, Lavender, Romilda, or Padma?
Question 4. In the second trip back in time, who killed Neville?
Ooh, in the second trip back in time, who killed Neville? Was it A, Voldemort, B, Snape, C, Cedric Diggory, or D, Professor Umbridge? A, Voldemort, B, Snape, C, Cedric, or D, Umbridge?
Question 5, and the last question of our quiz.
Yes.
How many years was it since Harry's scar had hurt?
Was it A, 22 years, B, 19 years, C, 18 years, or D, 15 years? How long is it since Harry's scar had hurt? 22 years, 19 years, 18 years, or 15 years? Last question. Fantastic.
So, here we go. Here are the answers.
Right.
Who is Minister for Magic in The Cursed Child?
The answer is, of course, C, Hermione Granger.
Question 2. What house is Albus Potter in?
The basis for the entire plot of the entire story, it is B, Slytherin.
When history changed the first time, who was Ron married to?
This is a good one. Ron, Paul, can you remember?
Just about. Padma Patil.
It is Padma Patil. I just called you Ron Paul. That's very American reference.
That's all right. I don't mind.
Question 4. In the second trip back in time, who was it who killed Neville? The answer was Cedric Diggory. Big gasp moment in the show.
Question 5. How many years was it since Harry's scar had hurt?
The answer is 22. Answer A, 22 years since Harry's scar had hurt. And there's always a moment where Poppy Miller and I would try to figure out who was going to take whose hand and try to walk.
She played Ginny.
Poppy Miller played Ginny, and she said, "How long is it, Harry? How long is it since your scar hurt?" And I'd say 22 years. Go music, go lights. Jamie and Poppy go off stage left. Try not to walk into the wall on the way off because it's really dark.
Yeah.
There was a lot of moving parts on that show.
There was.
That's it. That's the final question.
Thank you, everyone, for taking part. I hope you all did better than I did. I'm sure you did. And thank you very much for supporting our beautiful charity. I hope you've seen the video and the introduction from Stephen. And anything you can spare us, we really appreciate.
Thanks for taking part. Thank you for donating. It's been brilliant. I hope you did really, really well on the answers. And even if you didn't, I hope you had lots and lots of fun doing it as well. And no doubt we'll see you for future Harry Potter quizzes at some point down the road when we finally got rid of Stephen Fry and we've taken over the world of TV quizzes.
Well, thanks a lot, Jamie and Paul. That was absolutely fantastic. And some really tricky questions, and I don't know if I've done very well, I'm afraid, but I had a go. We really, really hope you enjoyed taking part. And if you can, do please make a contribution. Your contribution can make a huge difference to disabled children and their families up and down the country. Thanks again for your support. Share this as widely as you can with family, friends, work colleagues, anybody who loves Harry Potter and who loves the future for children of all kinds. Thanks very much indeed.